Hello, bonnet heads. Welcome back. You made it. Thank you for joining us. I am Pamela Bob, creator of Livin' on a Prairie, and your host. I am here with, well, I'm going to tell him, the winner of Team Manly competition, my hashtag imaginary boyfriend, Dean Butler, along here with our lovely prairie bitch, Allison Arngrim. Now, I am telling you this, Dean, because,
Yes.
as you know, there was a sort of online, huge explosion online debate on what team you were, either Team Manly or Team Adam. And,
Got it. Yes, right.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
And you were a little concerned that Team Manly was not going to, be the winner. But actually, Tony, I if you have those images, I want to show you something, Dean. That
Oh yeah.
yes, here we go.
Let's
so
see.
at the Little House See Me event, at my table, I had cards with a QR code on the back that people could take a fun Little House quiz. And some of the questions on the quiz had a lot to do with you, Dean. And we have the results. So this is science now. Are you ready, Butler?
I love it.
Okay. Who is your biggest male prairie crush? The results are in at over 50% Zaldamo. So you see the set.
Yeah,
You
you
won
got
over
blue
Pa.
half the
Wow.
thing.
Pa only
And-
got 33.3%.
Awesome. Now who got purple? What's the purple?
Garvey, 8.3.
Oh, Mr. Garvey, hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Adam, Team Adam, 8.3%. A sad, pathetic number.
But Garvey. So who's on there? Who's our choices?
Albert
Who's
didn't
our
get
Albert?
anything, which,
He was cute as a kid. He's cute. So wait, so it's
But Team Albert is a thing.
Zaldama. Oh yeah, no, there's people love Albert, and so it's Albert and then Adam, of course, and then what's the
Yes.
green one there? It's
The
That's
green
Pa.
one is Pa.
Oh, Pa,
Only
duh.
one connected,
Okay,
so
yeah.
you beat Pa.
that's hard to do.
I
'cause
just
really,
think,
Pa
I think
usually
that's
won.
I think
thought
that's
would be won.
incredible. I think probably like being present there helped that. Just being in the room.
Because you're
helped
still
that.
cute.
know,
that may be it to the fact you're still cute. There's that problem.
That is a big component of it.
Sure.
And that he blushes
And-
easily.
and-
I'm feeling hot right now.
You didn't have a place in the pie chart at the time because who knew that Jonathan Gilbert Willie also was going to show up
That's true.
and be
That
like this Matthew McConaughey, Keanu
Listen,
Reeves hot dude and freak everybody out.
We've entered an entire new era.
That's a whole new pie wedge,
Bodies.
man, because now there's a whole
He
wait.
gets a full pie to himself. I
We're
think.
all
The women
deeply
are going
confused.
crazy.
Why do we all now have a crush on Willie Olson? What has gone wrong in our lives? Yeah.
And I just want to thank you for running that contest.
Yes.
And sharing the results that I did so well in.
Yes, he beat out
Thank you
Pa.
for
That's
that.
really
Great.
cool.
You did great online too. I mean, the comments, and there were many, hundreds, if not thousands, and the majority of them were Team Manly. Just let it know. Don't get a big head about it or anything.
I won't. I count my lucky stars that it worked out that way that time. Who
Yeah,
knows
well,
about who
now and
knows
forever.
about right? Well, thank you for that, Pam. Pamela.
I wanted to show you the statistics because this is serious stuff we're
Yeah,
talking about.
thank you. The science is all
Anyway.
important here.
The science is in. The science is in.
We're going to have
Science
more
does not lie.
opportunities to test this because SEMI was just the beginning,
Just the kickoff.
of
Yeah.
the year, the 50th anniversary year, and we are going to be all over the place
I
in
know,
this
I'm
in this
tired
coming
just
year. I know. Well, we just got back from 2 weeks ago, Kentucky. We were in Kentucky, and next week we will be
Prairie
in.
went wild in
We'll be
Kentucky. I saw
in
the
Marshfield.
Marshfield, not Mansfield, which is where Laura's house is,
sorry.
but just up the road, Marshfield, which is where the cherry blossom. And the man who started it, the fabulous Reverend Nick, said when he first started it, they had no cherry trees. His wife said, "Honey, we can't have a cherry blossom festival. We have no cherry trees." And he said, "Technicality, we'll plant some. It'll be great." And he had.
Is that true?
Yes.
I totally believe that
Because
about
you've
the
met him
Reverend.
and you know what
Yes,
he's like.
Of
And
course.
he said, "We are going to do this." And he got some people to come and it picked up. And now it is this enormous event. And they got some cherry trees and it's all fabulous. And they get celebrities
Couldn't
from
he have
all
just
over.
named it the Oak Tree Festival? And
No,
not
he
had
said
to
we
plant any-
are
no.
having a cherry
He
blossom
would.
event. And they had
Yeah.
cherry pine.
So
A lot of presidential relatives. Grover Cleveland's
Yes.
grandson
Yes.
judging cherry pie. He's gotten people related to Lincoln and Washington and Jefferson. And
wow.
everything. He's
It-
into
it's
this
a,
thing.
It's a really interesting little subcultural
Big history
event, little
panel.
niches of history involved. yeah, it's trippy who he gets to come
And
there.
then a wacky assortment of celebrities,
Yeah.
like all in one place. And well, Mary McDonough of the Waltons talked me into going the first time, and I was
You've
like,
gone for every year.
I've been going for
Allison.
years. I got hooked. She said it's a very strange event. It's kind of surreal. I swear, you come, you won't want to stop going because it's just so crazy. And I get there and what is happening? There's all these historical panels, all these various TV celebrities, and just the weirdest. There was John Ashcroft and Lulu Roman from Hee Haw were all at the same event, and I went, I'm sorry, and it was a smash. And that's when I went, I'm just coming to this every year, and it's been a hit ever since. And and a whole bunch of us are going because it's the 50th. So a whole wagon full of us Berry folk will be there. It'll be
Who's
awesome.
going to that one? You two.
We'll be there.
Is
Oh, Charlotte's coming because Charlotte is going to.
Yes.
Charlotte goes to everything.
And our today's guest is going.
Yes.
Yeah, today's guest is going.
Yeah, we'll get a bunch. Baby Grace, Baby Rose, the gang.
Yes.
So that's April 25th to April 27th.
It will be fun.
And then what happens after that, Dean?
June. Does something happen in June?
Oh, then so I've got my little memoir coming out on June 25th.
My little memoir.
Prairie Man, My Little House Life and Beyond, coming out. Kensington Books, available for pre-order on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. But here's what I love that, and I think it's awesome. What I'm hoping that people will do is walk into their local bookstores.
Yes.
And ask for it.
Go to your independent bookstore, buy the book.
I think that would be a very good thing. I mean, more people need to go into their local bookstores and ask for things because it just sort of helps everybody. So
Prairie Man. Let's go Prairie Man.
There it is.
That's right. Well, all of our
Prairie
books,
Man.
all of the books that have been written, I think, virtually have all of them. I think
Prairie
have
Tail, Prairie Bitch,
in the
Prairie Man.
title. Yeah,
It's true.
There's something about prairie in the title that has been, and so when we were looking at titles, that was just a no-brainer. I mean, of course we're going to go down that path.
Are you going to be doing the whole publicity tour with your book? Are you going to be doing TV
I think
shows and
I
all
will
that good
be.
stuff?
Well, I'll be. Listen, I'm going to be talking to whomever will talk to me
Yes,
about
got
it. You know,
So you're coming on my show again.
Of course
You're coming on my
am.
show again because now the book will be out and you will come on my show again.
Of course I am. We'll talk about it again. And
I wrote
Allison,
a
of course,
foreword.
the
I wrote a
for the
foreword.
book, a
Melissa,
lovely foreword.
Melissa Gilbert. Melissa Gilbert wrote a beautiful. I wrote a foreword. Yes, we love him.
Not to rub your nose in it or anything, but I have gotten a few comments and emails asking if I have read your book yet, which I don't have your book yet. Should I pre-order mine too, Butler? Shall I?
No, you don't need to do that.
It's okay. I don't mind pre-ordering.
No,
your book.
no,
I'll totally
you
buy your
don't
book.
need. Well, yeah, you don't need to do that. I've got a few readers' copies at home, but they're not really fully corrected yet. As those,
Got it.
there are no pictures of those books. There are some things that still needed to be fixed.
I will.
But they
I will happily purchase your book.
No, I just don't want you to do that.
I read it super early. It's great.
Thank you so
okay,
much.
I mean,
Yes.
if you want to
So
mail me a
the
book
first
or
place that
something.
we will have the book available for people is, it maybe appropriately, is in Walnut Grove.
Walnut Grove in July.
For the 50th.
That's
gonna
great.
be
Okay, so wait, so
huge.
then you're in Walnut Grove, the
Right.
actual
The Walnut Grove.
in July,
Right.
July 19th to the 21st.
That's
you're
correct.
in Walnut Grove.
That's right. And then we're out on the road with Gravel Road Productions, and we are going to be on the May 10th and 11th. So jumping back now,
Because May,
Gravel Road.
okay. So
Yeah, go ahead.
so cherry blossom, right. And then, you guys who's going to Pepin, Wisconsin? That's May,
Pepin,
right?
Wisconsin.
Pepin, Wisconsin. I, however, will be at Club Venus in Chicago on May 9th, and then I will be at the Laurie Beachman Theater.
Are you doing what? You're doing stand-up?
I'm doing
there?
my show, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch. And then
you'll
New
be in
York,
New York.
Mother's Day, New York. I will be at the Laurie Beachman doing the show again. And then I will be in both Nashville and Louisville back to back. Also doing the show at a fabulous club called Play, which has disco and drag queens and madness. And I will be performing there in Louisville and Nashville. Come see me play. And then
Actually,
we're all
the
going.
drag queen that's opening for you,
Yes,
Allison,
I have a
found
drag
me
queen
on
opening.
TikTok. the
Oh,
other
he's
day, so now
lovely.
Now we're connected.
And I was
Yeah.
very pleased because there's many drag queens who, you standard things you have shared, whatever. But who does Minnie Pearl? I ask you. And apparently he's got a whole Mrs. Olsen thing. He's a Southern drag queen and pays great drag.
That would be
brilliant
really
stuff.
fun, I'm sure.
fun. It's going to be very fun. And then we're Independence, Kansas. Right. Yes, we're Independence, Kansas. Awesome.
May
Independence,
31st,
which I have not been to. It's
2nd.
one of the little house sites I haven't been to, and I'm so excited.
I haven't been there. I haven't been there either.
Boom. So this is huge.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good.
And that's June. Me and some of the gang are
it's
going
actually May 31st to June 2nd is Independence, Kansas.
Is that
and
whole
then
weekend.
Carry Days in Keystone.
July
26th through 28th.
Some of us are sneaking off to Monte Carlo for a couple of days.
Oh, very good.
I know. You're not. I'm sorry, you're not on the Monte Carlo list. It's very restricted. But a couple of us get to go to Monte Carlo. I know. We totally tried to push you.
Monte Carlo?
I totally tried to sell you to Monte Carlo, but it's just one of
Yeah. No,
what are you
I'll
gonna do?
get there. Maybe someday.
You will get there.
I'll get there.
You will get there. And then it's then comes Walnut Grove. Of course, I will be at the Red Room in Provincetown, Massachusetts, the weekend before Walnut Grove. It's Bear Week in P-Town, for those of you know what that means. And I will be there. So
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Ooh, Mr. Garvey, let's just say.
Yes, I was about to say a Garvey era.
The Garvey era, and then it's Walnut Grove, and then we're Keystone, because it's and then it's all about Baby Carrie, because Baby Carrie lived in Keystone and married a guy who helped create Mount Rushmore.
Yes, there's a very
when's the last event of this
Okay,
year?
Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Johnny Cash's Ranch in Nashville. I go to France for a while, come back.
It could be Branson.
It looks like
could
Branson.
be an event in Alabama, possibly.
Maybe a Christmas thing.
Maybe, but I think Branson is
through
going to
Christmas.
be
You think this goes
not through Christmas?
December?
It'll go early December is when.
But Branson, the weekend of 15, 16, 17, third weekend in November, Branson, Missouri. We are doing a thing, and we might do some kooky Christmas thing in early December in Alabama.
Is there going to be something on actual September 11th, which was the original
I think
air
Cozy
date?
TV will be doing
thing.
something on September
that's
11th,
great.
and they're airing it.
I'm going to have a party on September 18th. I'm not sure I have a location to be at. You're invited. I'm going to have a party because on the 18th was Country Girls. The show started airing. The pilot was March. The show starts airing on the 11th, but on the 18th is Country Girls, and that was the night exactly 50 years ago on the 18th that my whole life basically turned upside down.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to grab a restaurant and have some friends over.
My house is the best house in all of Walnut Grove.
Real lace, genuine oil, 6 genuine oil paintings, real lace curtains on the windows.
And looking at the classic shots of Catherine McGregor looking so proud at this moment, her father looking a little embarrassed, and everybody else sort of, who is this child? Yeah.
Yes,
and how perfect.
The audience.
How
So
perfect.
good.
It did change your life.
That was the audition piece. I mean, I did practically the whole script from the audition, but it was the My Home speech where they actually in the audition said, "Could you do that again?" But what would you like me to change? Just read the thing about the house again. And it was that thing I read that I was hired for. It was the My Home speech. That's what got me the job completely.
Well, we have burned half of this hour.
So we just blew the show
about where we're going.
Introducing the guest.
Let's into this, Pamela.
She's coming with us to most of those locations. So there you are.
Okay. From the studios of UBN Go in Burbank, California, which I'm very sorry to not be at now. I'm back in New York, and it's very sad to not be with you guys in person. Visit SeaMeValley.com presents a special event podcast. This is the Little House 50 for 50 podcast. And again, we are continually grateful to SeaMeValley.com for their commitment to present this podcast that celebrates this 50th anniversary year. Thank you. Visit SeaMeValley.com.
Yes, thank you very much.
We get to thank people. I get the list. I get to thank a bunch of people. I get the Cozy TV, which of course we love because, hey, they rerun our show. We love Cozy TV. Rodex, Modern Prairie, which if you know, that is my arch nemesis and best friend, Melissa Gilbert. And there's an app. You can get the app. Modern Prairie, the app. Price Ford, City of Simi Valley, of course, and the wonderful Adventist Health of Simi Valley. Thank you for your support of our Little House 50 for 50 podcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Let's meet today's guest.
Okay.
She arrived in Walnut Grove late in the run of the series, but she made a strong impression on the Little House family and in the audience, too. I loved her. She was born in Seattle, Washington, and raised in Portland, Oregon. She is a Bachelor of Science and Master of Arts degrees in in speech, English, and theater arts. She's a smarty pants. She taught high school in Portland for 3 years before moving to Los Angeles in 1980 to expand her acting career. Good move. Over the past 4 decades, this lovely woman has carved out a professional acting career that includes over 100 diverse theater, film, and TV roles. Her early on-camera work in LA began with series regular roles on Little House on the Prairie and Days of Our Lives. Ooh, versatile. More recently, she played a recurring character on the CW series Nancy Drew, which was so good. And her most recent credit was on SWAT. In her spare time, she enjoys working with children as well as teaching senior fitness. Please welcome Little House's Sarah Carter, Pamela Roylance.
Hello.
Welcome, Tammy.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Pamela, do you really like me just because I share your name? Is that
Well, do you ever meet any other Pamelas? Because I never do.
not too many? No.
Yeah, we're
pretty
bonded,
special.
sister. We're
I
bonded.
don't feel like Pamela's an unusual name. I
It's
think it's a
not,
name.
but
Well, at my age, I grew up with a lot of Pamelas
Oh, you did?
and Pams. Yeah. So all right. So this is a big deal because Pammy.
Yes.
See, when with Pamela Bob, there's no Pam.
No.
Pam is an absolute, and I didn't real. I've known Pam for 4 years.
You said Pam.
And I've known Pamela for 4 years, and one
makes
day
me
she
sound so high
said to me, yeah, well, your reaction was high maintenance.
Oh, no, it's because I have to say it, and I hate having to say it. But once it's said, then I never have to say it.
Yeah, okay. So but she said it so definitively. There was no question that PAM was never to be used in association with her ever again. But with you, you're Pam, you're Pamela, you're Pammy. It's like it's just been so easy. So high maintenance over there.
I'm just
so
I said
high
you can call me literally anything.
Oh, call you P-Bob.
Anything.
P-Bob.
Yeah.
I like
This
P-Bob.
is fun.
Melabob.
Melabob.
Mel.
That works.
Yeah.
All that. Now I get it. It's the
Yes.
Pam.
Yes.
This that part you don't like.
Okay. It's all coming together.
So glad you're
Yeah.
here. So glad. So we digress on this. So glad you're here. We were on a plane last week. We were there for for 4 hours talking about anything and everything.
So
It's wonderful.
So should it be then? That's how we'll tell them apart on the show. You're Pamela and she's Pam for
Yes.
today.
Yeah, let's do that.
Help
Let's do
us.
that.
Or
Is that
Pammy
okay?
or
Pammy.
Pammy.
Yeah.
We love
Pamela
Pam.
Jean is when I'm in trouble.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Pamela Jane, get in
Yeah,
here.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
exactly
All your names.
See,
All
yeah,
your
all the
names.
we're not doing that.
Okay. Yeah. You're not going to be in trouble here.
Okay.
So, all right. So let's get right into this because I think it's important. So tell us sort of the establishment story, the early story of Pam Roylance, and how did you get to be who you are, and you're sitting here with us.
Well, I was born.
Your whole life.
I know that. We have to assume that. That's an assumption. But take us through that story of you being you.
Shall I cut forward to, always wanting to be an actress when I grew up? It
That
was
works.
all what I dreamed of.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
What was
of
the
course,
beginning of that dream? How did that happen?
Well, it was watching Julie Andrews and Doris Day.
Oh.
I just loved.
Wow.
Yes, wanted to grow up to be just like them. Of course, years later.
Ultimately feminine women.
Yes.
And
well,
is that why you're so sweet? Because that's who you were watching. I mean, Doris Day, Julianne.
Yes,
You're
right.
like the nicest person.
well, thank you.
Very sexy was Doris Day.
She was the
In
hot
a-
thing
yeah,
back
in a-
then.
yeah, very sexy in this very prim, proper way.
Yes.
Very sexy.
in a way that if you
Sexy vanilla. Yeah.
Yes,
Good.
yeah. And if you revisit it now, you go, not really the kind of woman I really do want to be, because she was so
Yeah, yeah.
1950s in the package there.
So sexy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
taking
Dean's
that.
got a
We
type.
now
No,
know
now
Dean
I
has a
know.
type. Okay.
Got it.
Oh, there's no question. No doubt. Yeah. I like the packaging.
Got it.
And
Well.
Doris Day was all about the packaging.
She totally was.
true.
Yeah.
It
And
worked.
she was a strong woman too. She really grew into her own there. Yeah,
Yes. So anyway, so go ahead.
But
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so that was this is what stuck me to movies and television, and I want to grow up and be just like them, sort of thing.
Wow.
So that's where I was, and I remember in the 8th grade I had to do a journal on what I wanted to be when I grew up.
geez.
And everybody wants to be an actor, so I said that, and Mr. Sanderson said, "No, you can't. Everybody does that. You can't grow up and be an actress. That's not realistic." He says, you have to do something that's going to make you some money, and you can be taking care of yourself. So
That's
said,
a fair consideration for
Yeah.
Mr. Sanderson.
But he's
It
being
was.
realistic.
But
No,
a dream
he's
killer,
dashing
a dream
his
killer,
dreams.
but
Yeah,
realistic.
you can't just say
Exactly.
never. You could say, well, it's very difficult to.
Yes, you're
couch
right.
it a bit.
Yes, but no, he was pretty definitive, and I,
Wow.
it gave me something to jab at him later, and it gave me something
Inspiration.
to have a backup, right? So he says,
Did you have a chance? So you set this straight with Mr. Sanderson later.
Well, no, I went back to do it, but he wasn't there anymore.
Darn it.
But, oh yeah, not that I don't remember these things. I was back there.
She's holding the grudge. Holding the grudge the whole time. Okay, good.
But yeah, so he
Did
said,
did that affect you? Did you think, oh, I shouldn't? Or were you like, no, I don't care what you're saying?
No. It was more like, how dare you? Just,
Really?
How
Good for
very
you.
dare you?
You
Wow.
just say that, and you watch me go. That's
Oh, so
the
it was
kind of-
probably
Yeah.
a huge launching of your career to say, tell me what the heck I'm
absolutely.
gonna do, you
That
buster.
Gauntlet was
Good for
thrown.
you.
Nice.
Because I think a lot of people would be sort of would be repressed by that kind
Yeah.
of from an authority figure that you're supposed to respect, and someone's telling you can't do that. Well, maybe I can't do that. Good for you, Pam.
Well, and I was raised that way too, to be quiet and demure and to say yes, and so that was my life, but not inside here. You peel this off, and there's a whole other slicey thing going on. right?
Anyone who knows Pam knows that there's all this sweet packaging around around Pam, and she's very demure and all this, but there's an edge on Pam. She is sneaky, edgy.
We all go. She's the nicest person. She's so sweet. Do not cross her. Do not cross her.
There's a limit. We all have a limit, right?
Yeah,
So-
no. But you can set people right in the most charming way, but it can have if you're listening for it, you can hear a little edge.
Yeah, that's
in it.
true.
Yeah, but it's not a bad edge. It's not. You're never mean to anybody, but you have a way of saying things that communicates your feeling about something, but you do it in a way where someone has to think about it for a minute. See, did she really say that to me? Did she really mean that? And I would say, yes, she really did.
Yeah.
If she said it, she meant
Yep.
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't often mean to be cruel or
No,
anything like
you're
that.
cruel.
but-
You're never cruel.
You're never cruel.
That's
You're
not,
never mean.
Yeah, that's not in you to be cruel. Little
No,
edgy.
I also think that's a really good quality to have that little bit of something in there.
Oh,
Otherwise,
yeah.
you will just be a wet
Well,
blanket.
were you
for
like
people who
on
need
the
that.
soap opera?
Yeah.
Now, were you a nice
Well,
person on the soap? I mean, what happened?
And it tanked my my character and my career on the soap because I didn't give them anything to write for. I wasn't edgy and
too
sexy
nice.
and hot and steamy. I wasn't that. I had
Mean
come-
soap people are in, you know.
Yeah. I'd come off of Little House, and
Yes.
Prairie was where I was comfortable
Right.
and the wholesome.
That's where you wanted
so,
to be.
Yeah, it was really hard to. Well, I didn't know. I just didn't go. And one of the writers said, "Pam, listen." We don't write every episode, so we watch in between. And I'm watching you, and I need something to write. And they passed me off. I mean, I should have taken the hint. They passed me off to two of the sexy guys on the show, and
Just to
didn't
see
work-
what would happen.
Yeah, and the fire was never lit. Now I
dear.
could go back and I could play a matron quite well, right? But it didn't work for that time.
Now, you watched Little House before you were on
I
it. You
loved
actually
it.
knew all about us.
Totally did. I read the
Yeah.
books probably long before Mr. Sanderson's class, and I loved the books. I watched the show. I became a teacher later, which is what Mr. Sanderson told me to do. He said you can do 2 notebooks, one on being an actor and one on teaching drama. And I said, "What's drama?" I didn't even know what drama was.
so sweet.
So yeah.
Wow.
So and it's nice that I did have that career to launch. Just a professional life, independent life, and be able to move out of the house and things like that, and to fall back on during the lean times of the acting part. But yeah, so I was teaching high school, and I would go home at 3 o'clock, 3:30, turn on that TV, watch those reruns, and think, why can't I get on a show like Little House? I love that show. So that's where I just kept drifting toward. And it was pretty remarkable to be able to not just get on the show, but to get on as a series regular,
Right,
and not just
right.
any series regular, but
Right.
the one who lived in the little house.
Yeah, no,
what a
I
gift
think
that
that's
was.
I think that's pretty cool. You have a great you have a really interesting audition story. Another thing that could have tanked you,
Yeah.
if you allowed it to.
Absolutely.
So tell that story.
So the audition for the soap opera, which I would go to do after Little House, was for this same guy that I auditioned for later. It was for the role of Sandy Horton, the fourth Sandy Horton to come along.
The fourth Sandy Horton.
The fourth Sandy. And I went to the audition, and he called my agent, and he said, she's good. It's a shame she's so fat. And I really wasn't that fat. I was, pretty.
You couldn't do that today, but you could do
They
it
would
then.
kill you if you said that now. And also, like what?
I don't know. I kind of feel like
Pamela's
they
a little
still do
edgy.
that.
She is feeling a little
horrified.
over
I'm
there.
with you.
Pamela is having a fit.
Well, the thing is that I mean, it's such a hard pill to swallow because on one hand you're like, no, like that shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter, and then sometimes it does matter, and you
Sure it
hate that
does.
sometimes it does matter.
Camera
know?
adds
Yeah.
10 pounds. But we've seen her in the first episodes of Little House.
Yeah,
She's
but
not-
wait a
you're
minute.
like
I was thinking. Yeah, but you auditioned for Little House before, or did
No,
you
it came
audition the
after.
first time? Okay, so
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So Days of Our Lives was first.
Okay.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Little House. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
But then I would go back to earn this very same role. I was too fat to play.
Oh
after
God! After you had a similar where someone said to you in your audition for Little House, if you could lose 5 pounds, and tell that.
It was the late 70s, early 80s. They were just brutal,
I know. But
monsters.
Michael said it, and he was much more gracious. He called my agent.
He didn't say
said,
to pity your fat.
No, he didn't say
Jesus.
that. He just said, I like her. I just need her to lose a little bit of weight for me. And the reason was because I couldn't be completely, I was very athletic and I looked like that, and I couldn't be so healthy looking.
Right.
We had to be a bit lean, right? We had to be
Sure.
eating the food we were making out back. So,
Right. And
so
you
yeah.
weren't making chocolate every day on the set,
okay,
which you were eating every day in
was.
your. So tell
I
that.
was. Okay, so that was before Days of Our Lives as
Okay.
well. And it was my...
Tell that. I mean, I feel like I know your story so well, so I'm asking. Yeah. So the
Yeah, and
chocolate
tell
thing,
us
which
the thing
I-
again.
Yeah. Tell us the chocolate thing.
Tell us the
Okay.
chocolate thing, because we know.
Which is my downfall.
We're so bad.
I love chocolate, as
Me
you
too.
know. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh my God.
So yes,
If you don't love chocolate, you're a psychopath. Like,
There's
just don't
something
trust anyone
wrong.
that
Thank
doesn't
you.
like chocolate.
That should be on all those dating sites. That
Do you
should
like
be the
chocolate?
number one thing. Yes or no?
Yes.
So I was working in what we affectionately called the chocolate factory, which really wasn't an I Love Lucy thing. It was just an importer of a wonderful Swedish mint called, we called it Fazer, but it was really Fazer chocolate. And it was a tiny little mint, one product. And I could pack that away. Really, I always say, pack a box, eat a box, pack a box, eat a box. And it was fair, and it showed. And that's why this casting director at Days didn't like what he was seeing. So yeah, I did. The great thing about the job is that we had a boss who loved actors. He hired actors all over, and we could all come and go for auditions or jobs or anything.
Oh, that's
it was
great.
perfect. It was a really
Nice.
great setup. Plus, he encouraged you to pursue your career.
What I think is
unlike Mr. What was his name?
Yes, Anderson.
Yeah.
So
Sanderson, yeah.
Sanderson.
what I think is amazing is it's all about the messenger. So Michael reaches out to your agent very tactfully, says, I'd love her. It would be great if she could lose a little weight. Now, what's amazing about this, and I've known you now for all these years, you lost that weight,
I did.
and you have, okay, everyone goes up and down a few pounds here and there, but you have remained lean, fit, all of that always.
You are sporty spice
yeah,
of the cast,
yeah,
girl. I mean,
yeah, you
what?
have never gone back to.
No.
Yeah, you really got it. Whatever that was that he said to you, obviously he communicated. So what did you hear and all that?
Well, honestly, what it was, Dean, it was a change of stakes. I wasn't living for a soap opera. I moved from Portland, Oregon, with the dream of the Waltons, a show called 8 is Enough.
Sure.
I wanted to be on anything.
I'll
Walt
allow
Disney.
you to mention the Waltons just this one time.
Okay,
but-
thank you. I mentioned it first so you could forget about it. Now, and anything Walt Disney, and little house.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there it was. The dream right there. It was
Yeah.
written down. It's what I wanted.
Yeah.
So suddenly the stakes were higher, right? It meant more to me. And so I thought, okay, this is the man I'd love to work for. I can't believe I just am meeting him. And so, it was just, let's go for this. And I quit the job at the chocolate factory.
Because that was the key fact. That was
I
pushing
think
you over that 5 pounds.
Yeah.
That was it right
That
there.
was the linchpin. Yeah.
It was pretty influential. Called my parents and I said, could you front me some money, which they did. And so the time I would have spent at work, I was walking around Lake Balboa and I was working out at a gym. And I would do this for my 8-hour day. And then I was, that was my day.
But you were eating
Seriously?
you didn't starve yourself or take drugs. You just went and hit
it
the
was-
gym and really worked at being
quit the
athletic
chocolate.
then, not
Yeah.
like
So
starve myself then.
How
Good,
soon was
good.
your Little
Well-
House callback from how much time did you have to lose the weight?
Great question, Pamela Bob. There, I got it all. Pamela Rachel Bob. It's all in there. So, it was.
Suck
he
up.
told me. I know.
Don't
No,
suck up
she's
like
doing it
that.
right, Dean.
No, we Pamelas stick together. Aren't you sad you're not named Pamela? I'd love to call you Pamela Butler.
I'm embarrassed again. I mean, it's like that. No one's ever said that to me. Okay, go ahead, tell the story.
Say, I love these two people here. Okay,
Killing me.
What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Where were we?
How long did you hit
Oh,
the
the
gym?
hands. Yes, the
You
time.
move into the gym, you're hitting it.
Yeah, and Pamela Bob's great question.
It wasn't
Wait,
a long time, right?
No, he told me it was
Okay.
going to be at least a month, but probably
Oh,
more
wow.
because he was
Oh,
going to
wow.
be doing some
Okay.
other
All right,
things.
all right.
You had
So
some time.
doable.
Yeah, and it was 2 weeks. And I'd already seen Susan. I had already met him, and I don't recall if he was one. If I was one of the people he was under the desk with, as he did.
Under the desk with you.
Wait. Hiding under the desk. Please explain. Hiding
Yeah.
under the desk.
Don't think
story.
he did that, please. That he was not that kind
In
of
my-
a producer.
Yeah, in my dreams, it's like,
Right. Wait,
don't I wish?
explain the hiding under the desk. People are going, hiding under the desk? What?
Well, he didn't want to intimidate the actors, who we all loved him, and we all were just
So Michael would sometimes
shaking, so
have somebody else read with you, but he would hide in the room.
Susan always read.
So Susan would read, and Michael was hiding
Right.
Yeah,
in the
below.
room to observe, but literally under a desk in some cases.
Yes, he would.
But did the people know that he was hiding under the desk?
Oh,
Or didn't know
he
till
was
after?
there. I mean, he wasn't invisible. I mean, he was. You weren't reading in secret. You knew, but he didn't want to get in your eye line.
But sometimes,
he would
he'd
get-
be outside the room.
Yes, I think
would hide.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but maybe that
Wow.
works.
So you-
I hadn't heard that.
But yeah, because but I don't even recall. Anyway, yes. So I did have a little bit of time, and I had these wonderful 3 roommates, and they took me shopping. We bought a prairie outfit, which I don't even know how we found that in 1981 or whatever.
Sure.
And it was. It was gathered at the waist, so it was very tight, and they put a big prairie belt there, and then the skirt hid the hippies.
Good.
So, right?
Good.
So but he said no, it was in your face.
All you need
No,
is a
of
small
course.
torso.
And that's the thing.
all
It's
you
those
need.
first 5 pounds
Yeah.
that'll hit
Right.
the face
Yeah.
first, and
That's
that's what he
right.
needed, which
Yeah.
you weren't
That's
too,
right.
because you have the cute little cheeks, and then yeah.
He talked about that later on. He said that's where I saw it. So, and he was he's told me very impressed by my discipline to do it. So it was literally just being very careful what I ate. My roommates had this huge party, and it was so hard to just eat carrots and celery,
Yeah,
and
sure, of
you know.
course.
But it meant something. So yeah, that's where that all happened. And then suddenly, you're hired, and Stan and I did the same thing after those series of
Stan
auditions.
Ivar, you're talking
Oh yeah,
about.
sorry, Stan Ivar, Mr.
John
John
Carter.
Carter.
Yeah.
We both ran down the stairs there at MGM, or the casting office there, and we go to the payphone and we call our parents.
The
Both of
payphone.
us. First thing both of us did.
It's the 80s. There's
It's
no
the-
cell
oh,
phones.
that's-
You
yeah,
literally run
that's
to the
right.
payphone, hysterical, scrambling for quarters
Yeah, no,
it's
to call your
incredible.
family
It's
to tell them
incredible.
the important
Yeah.
news. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah,
that's
and live
awesome.
to tell.
I love that story so much. It's such a
Thank you.
manifestation. I love it. I mean, I hate that you had to lose the weight. I really
Me
do.
too.
But I love that you manifested what you knew your vision was for
Yeah.
yourself.
But getting out of the chocolate factory, pack a box, eat a box, probably really popped it over the edge
Yeah.
right away. That's 2 pounds right away.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
not
Yeah.
eating the
2
chocolate
pounds a day.
daily.
I mean, yes,
yeah,
it was.
boom, that's going to start coming down.
And end up walking around the lake as opposed to
that's
sitting
it.
there packing and eating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right,
Makes a
for
big
sure.
difference.
It really did.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was good.
Yeah.
I also had the first acting teacher I had here, Jackie Cowgill. Her son Chad Cowgill. Susan Sookman McCrae loved him and brought him back many times to play Little Boy. Little Boy One, Little Boy on Train for not just Little House, but I think maybe A Highway to Heaven. I forget. Anyway, she loved that guy. His mother was my acting teacher. She just turned 90, and she had a psychology background. So for our classes, we would start the class every night would be, or every once a week, we would start with what happened to you this last week that you did for your career, and what, did you have an audition or whatever. So if anybody had something going, for the rest of the week, we would get on the phone and call each other up and say, keep hang in there. This is yours to have. So I remember when I was climbing through these, I think it was 5 auditions I did for Little House.
Wow.
The 5th being the worst with the network. But they called me every week. These classmates of mine would call and they would say, hang in there. This is yours. You're going to get it. So that real positive.
What a support
it's mine to
system.
have.
That never
It's
happens.
awesome.
In
Yeah,
Hollywood,
right.
it's this like stab in
Yeah.
back. The other
No,
students are going,
rooting
you
for-
suck. I'm going to go
Rooting
for
for
it.
failure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, isn't
yeah.
that some old saying? It's not enough that they succeed, but you have to fail too.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like,
Over your dead, I'm going to walk over
It's
your
that-
dead, lifeless body
It's
and
that
get
zero-sum game.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
So that's
Yes.
incredible to have a bunch of actors actually go,
Yeah.
no, we love
Yeah,
you and we
that's
want you to
lovely.
get this
Yeah,
part
it's
and
really
you're going to
great.
make,
It's a
yeah.
big
Oh
deal.
my
Well,
God.
that's the sign of
Yeah.
a good teacher to foster that kind of
Hi.
community,
Isn't it, though?
honestly.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
So when you actually arrive in this, so you go through the process, you get it, and you step into this world. I mean, we all know who were there, but what was your gut sense of it as you stepped into it for real?
And wait, I just need to interject
Okay.
because not only are you stepping into this world, you're literally stepping into the Little House, which is
Yeah.
a whole
You're
other,
replacing it's like the Ingalls are moving away,
Yes.
and people are freaking out that the Ingalls aren't going to be in Little Hound. Who are you? And then you got Stan Iver. And it's like, oh
it
my
is-
God!
I'm still astounded by Michael Landon's brazen hoopla to actually
Yeah.
think that he could pull it off,
Yeah.
which he did.
Yeah.
Which he did. And well, to back up just a little bit, 6 of us came on the show at the same time. His daughter, who would play Etta Plum, Leslie, and then Shannon Doherty, who would play Jenny, and then the 4 Carters. So we all come in as a unit, which was helpful
Right.
because you're not on your own. Entering something that is so stable and fixed and has been there for many people 8 years already.
an institution. Yeah, exactly.
Right? So,
Yeah.
but Michael Landon had that thing about accepting each other, whether it was crew or cast. You worked professionally. You treated each other with respect. You cared about each other. So the family feeling was already there. So we never had a single day of feeling like we had to earn our way. We just felt embraced. Melissa did it, and she and Leslie. When I met Allison, I swear we were up in Sonora on location.
Yes,
I think.
because it was Return to Nellie. You were
Yes,
already
it
there,
was
and then
Return
I
to Nellie.
was gone when you came
Yeah.
in, and then I came back for Return to Nellie, and we got to hang out in Sonora.
Oh my gosh! And I hear, I'm like everybody else in the world, thinking, Nellie Olson, is she gonna eat me for dinner?
What's she gonna be like?
Yeah. And we came out of I think our hotel rooms were standing in the hallway, and I didn't know what to do, where to go. It was evening, and you invited me to dinner, and I did think, will she eat me or will she eat next to me? What will we have here?
Hannibal Lecter
Oh my
has said,
gosh,
"Would you care to go to dinner?"
She's gonna eat me alive. She was, and
Chianti and
is,
fava beans
as-
on the menu, yes.
Yeah, right.
Right? And it's like I'm trying to remember. I remember being at dinner with like you and Melissa and stuff hanging out there. But I'm like, oh, right. And I don't even remember because this was a normal thing for me to do, as people have said, and it's not like trying to, it's like, oh, yes, I just met you in the hallway and then immediately invited you to dinner because, of course, I would do that because I was like, oh, hi, yeah, hey, you want to go?
It is who you are. And so, if nobody's met her personally, she's the antithesis of Nellie. She
of
couldn't be
Nellie,
more
yeah.
opposite, Nellie, as a human being.
But don't
through
you
and
think
through.
it always comes from the top, right? So like
I do.
Michael Landon and Kevin McCrae obviously set a tone and sent a standard.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Right,
Exactly.
that you had
Truly.
you abided by, and it also taught, especially the young actors, how to treat others, how to welcome them
Sure.
in, like no competition, no nastiness.
Sure.
I was just watching part of the A&E doc on Michael Landon, and there was a Kent McRae was on it being interviewed, and
wow.
he said, it was very easy, that the actors knew what to do. They came in, they did their job, and if anyone, was a problem or nasty, like they were gone by the end of the day. It was simple.
Yeah.
So, and I thought like, oh, that's a standard, right? That you are teaching for the rest of it. So it doesn't surprise me that everyone was very welcoming to you.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll back up just
It's
one
surprising
second,
that it
but
happens,
It
but it's
is.
not surprising
It
on that
is.
show. Yeah.
Given the nature of the industry, it's very surprising it happens. But Mr. Butler here, who I, of course, was nothing more than a fan, like every other female was going, Mr. Butler. So, and I still remain a fan of both of these two people. So, yeah, this was like suddenly just, and he's so nice, and that's all I can think of. And he's so polite and diplomatic, and wow, what an amazing human being. So this is what I'm sensing and feeling is a lot of love, a lot of respect and appreciation for human beings, not just actors. So I'm not feeling at all intimidated about going in. I'm feeling accepted as a group of the six of us coming in, and I'm feeling, oh, wow, my dream came true. This is wonderful. My first day of standing inside that little house set and looking up at the loft as we're having a shot get set, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm the only female on this entire planet who's standing here in these little boots, big boots, sorry, in my prairie dress and looking up at these boys up there. And I thought, that's only one person that gets to fill those shoes. Wow. And how blessed I was, that a total dream come true, and a life of getting ready and putting your ducks in a row and believing, but an innocence in the believing that yes, it could happen to me. I have since gotten far more jaded, thinking, will I ever work again, or I can't do it anymore, those things, the negative thoughts that come in. But so I had this real rose-colored glasses sort of innocence to come in with, and I didn't know until we were doing autograph signing. And that started for maybe 2 years ago. And people would say, oh, I didn't like you. We didn't like the Carters. I didn't want a new mother. Yeah. I suddenly thought, really? And then I realized, well, of course, if somebody took my favorite mother away, I would have a problem with it. So it wasn't until that time. And I'm kind of glad, because that way I got to work for that whole year and those 3 movies after, and not have any feelings of I shouldn't be there, feel small. It was just, and Sarah was kind of a tough cookie, right? She was a little stronger,
nice character.
right? Yeah.
And now that's a thing. Okay, so how do you feel about that? Because that is a thing, a big fan debate online. Are you instead the interlopers who've dared to live in the sacred set of the little house? And obviously the plot line, these people move, this lovely couple and their children move in, but there were fans like, no, you cannot be in the house. And it's weird. It's just weird. What do you do with that? Because it's not your fault, for God's sake.
I think Michael Landon helped us, and I didn't know it. For years later, he brings in this handsome young Stan Ivar, John Carter, who resembles him in a younger day. He brings in me. I know Karen and I had brown hair. It's blonde now, but it was brown on the show. But we both have blue eyes or light-colored eyes and fair complexions.
Yeah, similar. Yeah, there's a similar.
The vibe
right?
is very similar.
Yeah. So all of that similar vibe, and then is smart enough to bring in 2 boys to shift it,
switch it all up.
boy energy in the house. So he created something where people were going to look, I think, and be curious, and then the storylines just blew out of that, and that was interesting, new, different stuff. So I think he created a storyline where John and Sarah were friends of El Manzo and Laura. I mean, where you're best friends, and we had storyline together. So he gave us He gave us opportunities to look good. Oh, and by the way, I was not a member of the Screen Actors Guild Union, and Stan was. But yeah, neither of us had a lot of credits, and the network didn't want us. And I didn't know that.
You had a big scary network interview.
Yes, that was horrifying. It was our last interview. And Michael called in the morning and he said, look, this is just protocol. I want you. I'm the executive producer you're in. You are the family that I want. Don't let this bother you. it's going to be horrible. So I met Stan across the street at NBC there at Buena Vista, and we rehearsed the lines. We hugged and held each other. He told me it was going to be okay and reminded me what Michael had said. And we went in, and it's like a semicircle sort of thing, and you're pretty distant from these 6 people or 5 people. One woman, all guys. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll just look at the woman. Maybe she'll, we'll have this female thing going. I'll be comfortable. And she was like this the whole time. She was ice. I mean, you could feel her. She
my
was
God.
like, I don't want these people at all. The guys were far nicer. So yeah, it was a tough thing. We walked out thinking, I don't think we're going to get this, and wondering how much authority Michael really had. So yeah, a matter of form. But a
and how do you go as a network and get bitchy at a Little House on the Prairie audition? How do you go, well, these people auditioning for a nice couple of Little House, and I'm going to sit here and scowl at them? How? Where?
It's power.
People,
I mean,
people.
it's just like
It
people
is
just get
power.
high on power.
It is
and
power.
it happens so often. It's just so wild.
So, Pam, take us to a break because we
Oh,
have
yes,
to
we're
pull
just
this
babbling.
up because
We're
we're
just
running
babbling.
long here. So take us to a break and
I
we'll
will.
Do a thing.
Thank you.
We will continue with Pamela. I'm calling you Pamela. Pamela Roylance after this from visitsimivalley.com.
When you visit Simi Valley, California, you are stopping into the pages of history. Go from the pioneers to the presidents, explore beautiful wildflowers, hike through iconic Hollywood locations, and end your day aboard the actual Air Force One at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Less than 15 minutes from Los Angeles and 30 minutes from Universal Studios, Simi Valley has small-town charm with big-time history. Go to visitsimivalley.com for more information. And for their support of the Little House 50 for 50 podcast, we also thank Cozy TV. Oh, we already thanked them, but we'll thank them again. Cozy TV,
No, never
Rodex,
enough
Modern
Cozy
Prairie,
TV,
Price
thanks.
Ford, City of Simi Valley, and Adventist Health Simi Valley. Thank you all very much. And there are so many others. We couldn't be more grateful.
Yeah.
Welcome back with our guest, Pamela Roylance. Okay, let's cover the 50th anniversary event because you had a lot to do with this event. So what were your impressions? What do you think the impact of it was? Give us all of your thoughts about
Oh, yeah.
Simi
Your work
Valley,
on that
what
committee.
happened.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
woman.
at the end of the
Pretty
day,
great.
so grateful to have had the opportunity. Even though we struggled through a lot, I mean, there were big dreams, and there were great artists and artisans and designers and engineers who crafted it and made it happen. The leadership of Dean Butler and Kathy Van Etten, both. I mean, it was just remarkable. I started out just as the note taker, trying to be useful, keeping track of what we said we do, and keeping people on task to do it. And later on, it just evolved into that dumping ground. I was a person that people would call and
Yes,
say,
Dumping ground.
"What about?"
I love that.
I dumped on you several times myself. Thank God you were there.
No.
Yeah, it was a great place to be.
Yeah, no, Pammy, you were, because of your nature, people feel like they can pick up the phone and call you and express what they're really feeling
they
about
all
something.
did.
And they felt like they were safe to do that. And you listened and you forwarded information and you sort of, you kept information flowing where someone maybe wasn't going to call me, that they would call you, and then you would call me or text me, and Kathy, and so we were able. We maybe couldn't respond as quickly to everything, but you really were so essential in keeping that information
You
flow
could
going. You did an
distill
awesome job.
everything
Yes,
from all the
she-
stuff and
yes,
make it work.
Distilled very nicely.
Thank you for that. And,
Yeah.
and it was an honor to have been in that position. But everyone truly had so much to do. Everyone was so busy that it only made sense to filter things down, get them down to bullet points and say, this is what they need. And we were honestly, in some ways, flying by the seat of our
Totally
pants.
flying by the seat of our pants.
Yeah, creating it as we went.
It was such a huge event, and there were some people involved who'd never done an event like this in their lives, going, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was while it was challenging, and we didn't know necessarily where we're going, but what we did know is that we wanted to get there.
Yep.
Wherever there was going to be, we wanted to get there. And I think that's what ultimately kept it together as the sales of tickets started to happen, and we could start to see the revenue change to the event, which was critical. The more we realized we could do as tickets were selling. I mean, it was really the event was able to be fully realized as a result of people's commitment to wanting to be there. That was a huge thing.
It was that incredible tenacity. There were slow starts. There were false starts. There were moments where we were thrilled because we had a sponsor and it was great. And we would tank. I mean, there would just be those moments on this roller coaster. And over time, where we started up here, it's like an actor giving your best performance way up here and you've got nowhere to go. So there were times when morale got so low.
It's like, are we going to make it?
But no one stopped. No one ever stopped. Their direction might have gotten more focus and just quieter to their own determination to do their part and do their thing and hang in there to the end. Nobody jumped ship. The thing didn't go awry and become something else other than
there was no crash and burn.
Yeah, there was.
It just kept
it wasn't Fire Festival.
The train stayed on the track.
It did.
Smoke was coming out of some of the cars and things were on fire, and it just stayed on the track.
It was crazy. But
Pam, were you able to enjoy yourself during the weekend?
Gosh.
I mean,
yes, I did.
Good.
There was a moment where things were being put up that only we got to see, those of us who were there. And then, so suddenly you're standing there and you're looking at the dream. Somehow we got what we originally envisioned and thought we had lost and were going to lose and never have.
Wow.
And just thinking, I don't know if somebody will have something to do if they buy a 3-day ticket. Will they have something to keep them interested? And will this really come off? And oh my gosh, that sense of pride, having been on a team like this, with the professionalism, the talent, and then that steady on drive, even though spirits were broken, I'm telling you, there were phone calls that I took where people were saying, I'm going to quit. And I'd say, no, hang in there. This is your work that people are seeing. There were moments where I think,
I went to France.
Yes,
I said,
so smart.
I know you're having these committee meetings, but I have this other thing in France, and I can't deal anymore. I'm still completely available by phone. I'm still totally in. I'm coming. I'm doing the press. I'm doing the thing. But I'm just gonna go be in France for a while now, and I'll text you because my brain is exploding. I'm going to France.
Even for Chris and myself, those few weeks leading up to the event, we were also going like, do we have a place to stay? Like,
how are we getting there?
We
What
do
is
nothing
happening?
other than we know we're supposed to be there, and we're just going to trust that someone's going to tell us we have plane tickets and a hotel to stay in.
Yes.
Which
Honestly,
is what happened.
One of the really things that people seem to really love were these panels, which Pamela and you and Chris Chaika ran the panels.
Oh my God!
And I just want because I know how Pam is in interviews, and David Friedman is a wonderful, young. I want to say young guy. He's not a young guy anymore, but he's got a wonderful humor and all that.
So nice.
Just talk about the panel you did together, because I think that was probably really fun.
Well, I loved it. First of all, I'm a fan of the Carter, so I was never an anti-Carter person. I'm down for the Carter era on Little House on the Prairie, so that was a bonus already going into it. But both Pamela and Jason and Dave Friedman have such great stories to tell. It was just so easy, and it was so great hearing their stories and their memories, and I just thought I had a blast with them. I think the panels are really sort of the heart and soul of the operation. I mean, the sets, of course, and the interiors, of course, are incredible, but I don't know, there was something really special going on in that tent with all of those panels. What do you think, Pam?
Oh, 100% agree with you. And at the end of the day, I wished I could have been at all of them. And I'm going to find a way to watch them all eventually. I thought that those were where the treasures were. And when I saw the clips of you and Jonathan, and it brought me to tears,
Yes.
And that's truly where the gold was, I think.
Yeah. It was really, really special. And I will say it was all of the panels. There wasn't one that was sort of like, okay, well, we got through that one. I mean, they were all really great. but I attribute that to because sometimes you just don't know
Right.
you don't know how things are going to go. And that's what's part of what's stressful about doing it is that, it's not scripted.
Well,
We're
there's
just
so
talking.
many people, and here's the actors. Like, sure, an actor might be able to good interview, but you walk into that tent after taking a golf course up and down hill in the blowing wind and the rain, going, "Where am I going? What is happening?" And then they throw you into, and there's thousands. I mean, it was like 18,000 people over 3 days. So, but even in the tent, it was like 1,000 people. It was hundreds and hundreds, and then you slowly pass the benches that kept going.
It would be 1,000 people, and then 1,000 people outside the tent.
It's not like, I'll go to this tent. It's gonna be a couple of. There's 1,000 people sitting on benches. It's just like, what is happening? And they're like rabbit. They're hysterical. They're on the edge of their seats. That's really intimidating. And you had all these actors who are like, okay, I'm not sure what's going on at this event, and there's 1,000 people in the tent, and this woman is asking me questions. So the fact that you made that work, holy moly!
Oh well, I honestly, I was just rolling with it, and that's very kind of you to give me any kind of credit that way. But honestly, it was easy because you guys were and before every panel, I'd say, just tell stories. That's all. I'll follow you guys.
Right.
I have some questions, but let's roll with your stories. That's what we all are here to listen to. And everyone did, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
And I think I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say we need to button this up.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
So say
it goes too fast.
I know. Say what you were going to say, and then we need to say goodbye to Pamela really quickly and button this up. So
I was going to say, if I remember right, Karen was the panel ahead of us, and packed the house. People, you could hear them clear across the park reacting to everything she said, and so then we come on and people are moving out, and I'm thinking, oh no one really does like the Carters. No one's going to stay. And then somehow it filled back up again. So and thank you for making it easy to interview with you. And thank you for the opportunity to work with you, my dear friend. And I love you both.
Pammy, no, absolutely.
Pamela, happy to be in your life.
Yeah, likewise. It was great. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's so wonderful knowing you, and the CMA event was just magical. So thank you. We'll be back. Are we going to do a question?
We're going to do a question, and we're going
to
race for
right
the exit.
After this.
Race.
Yes, right after this.
When you visit Simi Valley, California, you are stepping into the pages of history. Go from the pioneers to the presidents. Explore beautiful wildflowers, hike through iconic Hollywood locations, and end your day aboard the actual Air Force One at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Less than 15 minutes away from Los Angeles, 30 minutes from Universal Studios, Simi Valley has small-town charm with big-time history. Go visit simivalley.com for more information.
We also want to thank Alexander GMC of Simi Valley, Golden State Water Company, Marketscape, Strathern Historical Society, WM, formerly Waste Management, and Vista at Simi Valley Assisted Living. Thank you all for your support of the Little House 50 for 50 podcast.
Okay. We're going to do,
we did it.
Hopefully 2 questions, but we're going to start with 1 question at least. Time. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Courtney from Texas writes, it seems like so many child actors faced unfortunate fates. And with the Nickelodeon documentary now, this topic is at the forefront again. It seems the child actors have had, at least by Hollywood standards, from Little House on the Prairie, good and normal lives. How did the child actors of Little House avoid so many of the issues of so many other child actors at the time?
Absolutely. You have noticed
Courtney.
this. I have joked about it and said, the cast of Little House, no arrests, no convictions. We're very proud. But the reality is, I said, we don't see us on TMZ with no pants. You don't. We had a lot of kids on that show. We should have way more people doing terrible things. We've done really well. 2 words, Michael Landon. There was absolutely, it comes from the top, as you've seen on the horrifying Nickelodeon documentary of the horrible, unspeakable things these monsters were doing. It comes from the top, because if the top brass is willing to say, we don't tolerate that, we want the parents there and we want these kids protected, less of that's going to happen. I mean, predators seek out situations where they can abuse children, where children are not being attended to. They see an opening. They go, oh, hey, on this show, they don't really pay attention to whether I can go work there.
Right.
They zero in on the kid who's lonely, so those opportunities, that is why you do see a lot of predators go into show business, because they can say, I'm an agent, I'm a photographer, and people leave their kids with them. It's insane. Little House.
Well, what's so insidious about the Nickelodeon thing too is that the parents were on the set and they were still targeted and got them.
People feel they're afraid. Well, my kid will get fired, and hey, I don't want to stop the gravy train. This is sick. Little House. There was an attitude of we're protecting the kids. I've always said our crew. I have heard from other girls who grew up on sets where the crew was like catcalling and were like terrible. I said our crew. If I went to any, you remember our crew, those guys. If I went to anyone in our crew and said that man is bothering me, you wouldn't have found the body. And it was like, it's just like, I don't know, man. He got hit by a car. I don't know where he went. They would just be gone. So there was a sense of protection. I felt protected. I felt the set teachers were on it all the time. This child needs more school. And you had to have decent grades in the work. It was strict. I had my work permit. You file it every year. I know people on other shows cheated and didn't have the grades and didn't have the medical examination report that said they were healthy. They were not really in good health. I know they cheated. Not on Little House.
Gary Coleman had kidney failure.
He's having dialysis, and how is he getting the doctor to sign off that he's in healthy shape to wear? I don't know. But on Little House, that kind of stuff didn't go on. You did go to school. They did not gyp us on the school. The teachers were very firm, but they administered tests. They made sure we were doing our work. There was this attitude of this is how we're going to be. I, of course, had my Annie Mary in there. It was fantastic. But there was a work ethic, and we were treated with respect. Like, we've talked about, we've had people on, like Rachel, who said we were treated as adults and as children, but we did our job, and there was this weird level of respect that we were at the standard, and that made a difference. We weren't treated like little stupid trained animals. We just weren't. We were treated like actors, and everyone from the show has been able to hold their head up and go, I was on a good show that people really liked, and I was treated like a human being and an adult and a responsible person, and that makes a giant difference in your self-esteem and how you navigate life after that. So, I know some of our kids, we've had our ups and downs. We just haven't had the dire issues of feeling lost that so many kids did because of the way Little House was run. We just were treated differently.
Yeah, you see that Nickelodeon thing, and it makes you realize how lucky you guys were that you were on that
It's dangerous out there, folks. It really is.
No kidding.
All right. Do we have time for one more question or next
I think we need to
go?
go.
We should go.
Here we go.
We have to go.
All right, everybody. That's a wrap for today. You're listening to the Little House 50 for 50 podcast. We're out there on the socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and our website, littlehouse50podcast.com, where you can link up to all of us and see what is going on. And we'll see you next time, everybody. Bob, get the wig.
Bob, get
We're
the wig.
out.
Can she do arms with us too? Can Pam, the guest, show the guest doing arms?
Oh, yeah.
Yay! Okay.
We're all doing the airplane arms.